Hey guys, so we're heading off to Southeast Asia, specifically Thailand, in just a couple days, and I wanted to break down all of our electronics that we're bringing. This is everything from all of our camera gear, stuff that charge our phones, the whole deal. So let's just dive right in. I'm going to show you everything in and out. Okay, so here we go. First off, power. How do we charge all these devices? We need an international power adapter like this. This works with like every country that you're going to go to that has electricity. You can use this, but this guy will be plugged into, so this gives you one power plug. We'll plug this into that, right? This is rated to 120 to 240, and this is super cool. It's got 4 plugs in it. It's super small, super light, and it also has 4 USBs. So we're going to be charging most of our devices using this. And then plugging into this, if something stops working here, I also have a couple of these just iPhone power USB power adapters that we'll use with it, just in case. Then we've got lightning cords for our phones. We're bringing our iPhones, so we'll have 3 of these cords. We've got 3 micro USB that are just kind of extra micro USB cords to have. We have power banks. This one's by Anchor. It's 10,000 milliamps. I have another power bank, so I'll be carrying one of these power banks, and Amy will be carrying the other in her bag. Then we get into camera equipment. So we're bringing the Canon M50. So we're gonna bring the Canon M50. I'm filming right now with that. I have the Edu microphone on it with a little dead cat to knock out the wind noise when we're walking around, and then I'm filming right now with the 11 to 22 millimeter. That's what I'm shooting with, and that's what I'm bringing as our main camera. With that, I have a little cleaning kit here. I bring in a blower so I can clean the sensor if I need to. A couple little microfiber cloths. I have a few more of these just packaged up I'm gonna bring as well. And then a lens pen. These are super nifty little device. So you can unscrew it here. It's got I think it has charcoal is what they said on it. That makes it so that it cleans off your lens. You can just rub it. So you start with the other side with the brush. You can get rid of any debris, it retracts, and then you unscrew the other side and use this on your lens to clean it. It's a nice little solution. And then I'll be able to clean it with, you know, a full cloth and everything at the hotel when I need to. But on the go, this is what I'm gonna depend on. I'm also outside of the 11 to 22 millimeter. I'm also bringing the 22 millimeter prime lens. This is the f2, so this will be nice for night photography or videos. Also for anything where I want that shallow depth of field, the 22 millimeter lens is what I'm gonna go with. I got a little adapter ring. This adapts our filters from the 43 millimeter size that's on the front of the 22 millimeter to my larger 55 millimeter filter size. I have 2 chargers for the Canon. I want to make sure that I can charge the Canon batteries, because otherwise if the charger goes down, if you depend on just a cheaper charger and that stops working, you're kind of out of luck. So I've got the original Canon one with the flip out guy. This isn't my favorite charger, but it will work. It only charges 1 at a time. And then I have the Wasabi Power dual charger. So this does 2 of them at the same time and gives you it powered off USB. So with that, our little micro USB cord, this will go with that. For the Canon, I also obviously have a battery inside the Canon right now. So it's battery 1, and I have 2, 3, 4, and 5 right here. I like to number them so that when I'm out shooting and I switch a battery, I know based on what battery's in the camera, what batteries I've used, and so forth. Also using the Peak Design leash. This thing works great. It's super thin and lightweight, which is nice when you have a small camera. You don't need a giant leash. I've got the Aperture M9 little USB powered lamp. This thing's great for shooting. If we want to shoot inside of like a hotel room or something, we need a little bit more light. You can just pop this guy on, and you can really light up a lot of area with such a small device. Micro USB cord for that as well though. I like to be able to have a cord for everything. Then we'll get into the filters for the Canon. I have a variable ND filter by Aurora Aperture. This variable ND is super great. It's got a really nice handle on it. And this is so that we can shoot with the lower frame rates in the daytime, or if we want to do some slow photography. I have a CPL. This is great for removing reflections and also boosting the colors in the sky, especially the blues in the waters as well. Since we're going to a tropical vacation, a polarizer I think is going to come in really handy. I like to just use these hard cases. They take up a little more space, but I like them. They're just easier to grab when I'm only carrying 2 filters. That's all I have. I don't have 15 filters. This is fine in the bag. You'll see later if you watch part 2 how these pack down into a very small day pack. I've got the remote shutter release. This thing's super cool, so I can just do remote shutter on the Canon. when we walk around, I'll just bring this guy as our SD card holder. It's a small little flip out, so I slip this in the day bag. And then back at the hotel, I'll have the full size closing one. This is a hard case one for all the SD cards. We're bringing two 32 gigabyte micro SD cards and a 64 gigabyte micro SD card for the GoPro, which I'll get to. And then we have these two 16 gig basic little SD cards for the Nikon camera that we'll get to. And then I have two 64 gigs, one that's in the camera, one that's here. I got a couple of the adapters too, in case that my card reader stops working on the micro SD card. I can use one of these adapters to pop it in, or if I want to run two cards at once. I got a couple of those. With that, I got a little USB 3.0, so it's nice and fast, SD card and micro SD card reader. So each day when I'm done shooting, I'll use this with these SD cards, and then I'll use this Chromebook. So this is a little Lenovo Chromebook. It's really lightweight. All I really use it for is checking into flights or transferring footage in between the SD card and these external hard drives. I have 3 external hard drives that we're bringing. These are all USB 3.0. I have a 2 terabyte drive here. That's one of the main backups. And then I have 2 1 terabyte drives where the footage will get put onto. So everything gets first put onto the 2 terabyte, and then from the 2 terabyte, it'll get put onto the first terabyte external. And then if I fill that up, I'll go to the next one. So I'll always have my stuff in 2 locations, no matter what. I'll also separate these from bags, so if one bag fell into the water, let's say, and ruins it, even though these are going to be in nice enclosures, let's say it gets ruined and the other bag is still in the boat, we're good to go because I got everything on the other drive. Always 2 locations, no matter what. GoPro Hero 7 Black. This thing is a beast. It is so cool. The stabilization's amazing. It shoots crazy 4K. Underwater, no enclosure even needed. I've got 4 GoPro batteries, so that gets us through a lot of shooting. We can also charge on the go because we have this 3-bay USB-C charging block. Then we get into the accessories for the GoPro. So we've got the main one that we walk around with. This is just a really, really lightweight selfie stick that's got a tripod built in, and it's got a couple little notches, so it gives you a little bit of length without being too big. It slips into really small bags. You don't even have to take the GoPro off. When we want something a little bit more heavy duty, because this is pretty lightweight, I wouldn't want to go underwater with this or anything. I'd be too afraid it was going to snap. So then we have a heavier selfie stick here. It's all made out of metal. It's got a leash on it right now, and then when you twist it, it goes out, gives you a lot more distance. This thing's super cool underwater. We've got a really cool clip that we found. So this is just a huge, it's really strong alligator clip. It also rotates. You can like spin it like that. So if you want to mount it, the GoPro, you just hook the GoPro here, and then you can clip this thing on to like the edge of like your backpack, like the strap. This is just a kitchen timer. This allows me to get really cool time lapses that are moving time lapses from left to right without really any, you know, heavy expensive equipment or anything. Got a quick release with the GoPro attached here. This quick release is going to work with both tripods that we're bringing. I'm going to get to those tripods in one sec. First, let's look at this camera here. This is the Nikon S9900. This is a great little zoom lens that it has. I don't have a battery in there, but it zooms out really far. I think it's a, what is it? 30 times wide optical zoom. It's a 4.5 to 135 millimeter equivalent, I guess. And it's a 3.7 to 6.4 aperture. So it's not the widest aperture or anything, but it's got a fully rotating screen. It's super small. We like to be able to get shots of people with this because we can zoom in super far. It shoots 1080. It doesn't have an external microphone input though, so it's really only good for those B-roll shots. But I mean, look at how small this thing is. If we're going out and I don't want to bring everything, this thing will just slip into like almost a shirt pocket, front pocket of like a loose pair of like shorts or anything, no problem. I got 2 batteries for that. We've got up here just the chargers for the Chromebook as well. This guy plugs in through a normal plug. This is why we need a few plugs outside of just USB. We need to be able to plug in a few devices like this and a few other items. So then we get into the tripods. We've got 2 tripods that we're bringing. One, this is the main one that slips in the bag. I have a really cool holder. This is the raddest travel tripod you're ever gonna find. I'm gonna have a whole video on this. The legs extend. On this I have the Slick DQ10 quick release. This is one of the smallest quick releases I could find. It is so great for a mirrorless camera. It has the, when you put it in, it clicks and locks in place, and you can push it to get a little bit more secure. It doesn't have like a button to allow it to release and the extra security features, but for what I'm doing, this is great. I screwed into a small ball mount here. on the top so I can swivel it any which way I want, just a little D-ring. This is a great tripod, great option for people that they probably don't know about. Our secondary one that slips in the bag so small is this little starfish looking guy. It's all bendable. I have another one of those quick releases that I got for it so the camera can go from one to the other really quickly, no problems. I'll just leave that quick release on the bottom of it at all times throughout the trip, and you just grab a tripod, slap it on there. But this guy bends. You can put it onto like a table. Let's say it was just, we're at a bar and I want to take a cool sunset shot. I don't want to set it in a liquid, but I don't want like a bigger, I don't want to pull out like a full-on tripod and set this up. When you just have a little space on the table, this guy's gonna work out great. You can fold this up here, and if you want to use it like a little selfie stick, you can hold it out. It works out actually pretty well. It's like a little octopus. It's supposed to be able to hang on things. It's got a hole for like a nail if it's on a wall, but I don't think I'm going to be doing a lot of that. But this is great if it's on a rock, and the other tripod's more on level surface type stuff. There you go. This is the Migo Splat is what it's called. Splat. These are the Bose Quiet Comfort 3s or something. They're like the newer ones. They're great. They go in their own case. I'll show you that in part 2 of this video. So these will cancel out like all the noise around you. I've got a little charger cord for it, another micro USB, and always bring an auxiliary cord where it's a male end on both ends so that you can plug it into stuff that doesn't have Bluetooth, like the airplane and that kind of thing. You can plug in your own headphones. Amy's got her own pair. These are the Cohen. These are like knockoff ones basically, but they're great. Off of Amazon. And then they've got same thing, auxiliary inputs, you can plug it in, and then a micro USB cord so that you can recharge these, because they do take power since they're Bluetooth when you're connected to a Bluetooth device. Super tiny little Bluetooth speaker that I like to take, and then I like to bring some sort of flashlight. For us, a headlamp is great on these types of trips. So that is all of the electronics that we're bringing. Our cell phones are the only other thing, and obviously the Canon M50 that I'm filming on now. So check out part 2 of the video where I show you how do you pack all of this stuff into your main bag.